Regulators, mount up.
What go on? What go on? It's your humble host, Big Truck. Hey, yo, we gonna tap into this thing right quick. All right. I got some people that got some things to say. I have some things to say. And then the spirit of the universe is gonna take us home. So grab your shoulder pads and your helmet and let's get this work.
Senate Democrats are openly admitting that this is their shutdown. You have seen the highlight reel of all of them stumbling into admitting that. And yet they're also incoherently claiming that the shutdown is somehow on the fault of the other party. And the people aren't buying it. And that's why the polling continues to show that the approval of Republicans in Congress is rising with each passing day. And the Democrats, at the same time, Democrats in Congress have the lowest approval rating they have ever had since polling began, since recorded polling began on these metrics.
Y'all got to see this one because Chuck Schumer just flat out losing his mind of basic questions that, again, debunk the whole narrative that he is trying to persuade people to believe. Now, this takes a crazy turn because you're going to see him lose his mind one time and then rage quit on the second one. And then Amy Klobuchar, she's going to come up and she's going to talk about the Epstein files. I mean, this is just getting absurd, ladies and gentlemen. These people claim that Republicans should use these funds to fund SNAP, but that's only going to last less than what? A month? Less than before a month? And then what happens after that? I mean, there is so much confusion. These people are trying to persuade people to believe the BS. But I want you guys to take a listen to this and how this takes a wicked turn.
Shout out to LV Nation. Go to that brother's channel, show him some love. King's doing an amazing job. And he's absolutely right. When you ask direct, specific questions, pay attention to facial micros and body language. He gets triggered immediately. An individual will always expose themselves when you ask simple, direct questions. Let's continue.
Irrespective of the dispute on whether USDA contingency funds can be used for SNAP benefits.
It is not, wait a minute, excuse me. It is not a dispute. It is fact they can use it, and the Republicans say it.
Okay, but there's, only 5 or 6 billion, and it's not cost 8 billion monthly just to administer. I mean, if anything, it would only last.
It does not cost 5 or 6 billion to administer. There's enough money to start feeding people right away. 6 billion's a lot of money, and they're using it for other things. 20 billion for Argentina. Hundreds of millions for Kristi Noem's plane. Who are we kidding here? Yes.
What happens once it runs out?
How do you know that that's what they're using it for? Do you have proof? All right.
It only lasts 2-3 weeks. The Democrats fold then.
The bottom line is they can fund it.
They're asking the hard-hitting questions. That's why he's getting mad. Because these are the questions that we all pretty much know the answer to, and he knows the answer to this as well. Right? Democrats were asking for 1.5 trillion in order to reopen the government and get the 60 votes because you need 60 votes in the Senate to pass and to basically, pass the clean resolution, which was passed by Speaker Johnson. Right? You got all these Republican leaders coming out and saying, these Democrat leaders don't want to work with us. So he's getting hit with the hard question.
It's just because they have their own agenda. Anytime an individual has their own agenda, of course. But see, the Democrats have always felt some type of way ever since Trump got in office. The crash out. I mean, they even went as far as having I'll call them political puppets. Paid activists. They go on social media, making all these videos. Okay? Everything deemed at Trump to assassinate his character. Democrats know what they're doing. They don't like the fact that people now have caught on to their bullshit and they calling Schumer out.
By the way, what Amy Klobuchar, what is this, a robot? Like, why does she smile like this? What's going on with her, man? So here's the question again.
Noem's plane. Who are we kidding here? Yes.
What happens once it runs out? If it only lasts 2-3 weeks, the Democrats fold then.
The bottom line is they can fund it just as in 2019, just as in other shutdowns for a long period of time.
And they also, if the contingency fund, which is $6 billion, which gets you nearly a month, 3 weeks, runs out, then they can pass Senator Lujan or Senator Hawley's bill, both of which we support. We know that there'll be 60 votes for that. Why aren't they calling it up? They're not calling it up because the House isn't here to pass it. That's the way.
No. The reason why is because the things that the Democrats are implementing in that bill pertains to the ABC people, transgender, and other things. With all due respect to that side, but still, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the agenda gets called out. What's the real reason why you need $1.5 trillion for? Let's really have a conversation. It's not just for Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid, immigrants. No. What's really going on? Because we already know. Maybe we just want y'all to say it. It has already been confirmed what you need the funds for. And the Republicans are saying, hell no. Let's continue.
The way it works, the House would have to come here. They probably would have to vote on the Epstein files, but they're choosing to let kids go hungry instead of having to vote on the Epstein files.
What does the Epstein files have to do with SNAP and EBT? And people not getting their full benefits? Anyone?
There's no doubt about it. They have been out for 6 weeks on vacation.
Just think, if they have all this money for Argentina and all this
Chasing headlines. Speaking of the Epstein files, Democrats all of a sudden are becoming the most energetic Epstein file and child trafficking hunters of all time. All of a sudden, it's so wild that they literally chase headlines and quotes on Twitter, lying to the American people, knowing that it is wildly irresponsible for Trump to go and start using funds. Snap. Trump actually ended up posting something from his lawyers that I thought was very important, because it seems that the Democrats are trying to actually trap Trump into doing something that can get him impeached. Well, take a look at this. This is where things take a huge turn, right? He says, Trump on Truth Social says, our government lawyers do not think that we have the legal authority to pay SNAP with certain monies we have available right now. And now 2 courts have issued conflicting opinions on what can and he cannot do, or the administration. I do not want Americans to go hungry just because the radical Democrats refuse to do the right thing to reopen the government. Therefore, I have instructed our lawyers.
He said he does not want the people to go hungry. So evidently he does care. What the Democrats are trying to do, like my man said, they're trying to trap him in a way where they can impeach him. The Democrats do not like the fact that Trump does not play ball. I'm gonna keep it $1 with you. They're crashing out. Every chance they get, they're trying to assassinate this man's character. Every chance they get, they're trying to put something on this man. And every time they do, it makes Trump look good. Every time they do, it fucking backfires on them. This time, it backfired on the Democrats tremendously. At the end of it all, this is going to make Trump look like a hero. Let's continue.
To ask the court to clarify on how we can legally fund SNAP as soon as possible. It is already delayed enough due to the Democrats keeping the government closed through the monthly payment date. And even if we get immediate guidance, it will unfortunately be delayed while states get the money out. If we are given the appropriate legal direction by the court, it will be my honor to provide the funding just like I did with the military and law enforcement pay. The Democrats should quit the charade where they hurt people for their own political reasons and immediately reopen the government. If you use SNAP benefits, call the Senate Democrats and tell them to reopen the government now. Here is crying Chuck Schumer's office number. And then he puts the office number out there. So this is conflicting for the Democrats, because here is Trump saying it will be his honor to fund SNAP. But yet you guys are trying to trap him into doing something that may not even be legal.
But also saying that he doesn't want to give the funds. He doesn't want to release the funds. Everything has already been set for the new budget, for the new bill. Okay? The Democrats want to add in their own agenda. And the Republicans are saying, no, it doesn't fit. How would your agenda be beneficial to the millions of people out there that receive SNAP and EBT? You're talking about thousands and thousands and millions of men and women that receive SNAP benefits and EBT. How is your agenda going to benefit them as a whole? It doesn't.
We are saying the Republicans can fund it now, and they're using these people as hostages. Plain and simple. Next. That's the answer.
Look at that. Look at that.
The answer is they can fund it right now. Okay.
The Democrats wanted their way or the highway. But
no, the real reason is you can agree with the bill that the Republicans have already set now, but you don't want to. So you're using your words against Trump, where you should be taking note of the words that you use for you.
yeah, they know that they have no plan afterwards. So yes, you fund it, and what? People then go starving again, so you could blame Republicans, and you could blame Trump. These people are insane, man. They could have just opened up the government a long time ago. They still won't do it. But there's something deeper happening here, right? As you can see, Chuck Schumer constantly melts down about this live on air. Then they're speaking about the Epstein files as they're now the number one Epstein fighters. But then Elon actually made a good point. Elon broke it down. He actually broke it down so good that Joe Rogan's mind was pretty much blown, right? Because when they're talking about what the theory is behind the shutdown, why are the Democrats behaving the way that they're behaving? What are they trying to gain from this? Well, we've spoken about it before, but Elon goes on Joe Rogan's platform, and this is probably why Gavin Newsom always melts down over Joe Rogan. But he makes a great point as to what it is that they're going to gain by winning the narrative and trying to win this somewhat war in Congress to get what they want, right?
And shout out to Joe Rogan. Love the brother. He's always on point. Please subscribe to the King's channel. Show Joe Rogan some love.
Take a listen.
The reason you have the standoff is because if the hundreds of billions of dollars to create a financial incentive to have this giant magnet to attract illegals from every part of Earth to these states, if that is turned off, the illegals will leave because they're no longer being paid to come to the United States and stay here.
Wow. Oh, okay. Shout out to Elon Musk. Now it starts to make sense. When it comes to those votes, the Democrats need those votes. So therefore, the Democrats are counting on those illegals. So when it comes time to voting, since a large number of blacks left the Democrats and started voting Republican, that left them out to dry. Okay? So now the immigrants are going to be the minority. Now it begins to make sense. Okay, you want to keep the immigrants happy. You want to keep them satisfied. Hey, as Democrats, we do this for you. But when it comes time to vote, this is what we need from you. Now it makes sense. And now, because they don't have that type of leverage, that type of pool, that leaves them hanging. Now it begins to make sense. Democrats don't really give a fuck about y'all.
Wow. And then they will lose a lot of voters. The Democratic Party will lose a lot of voters.
And they would have a very difficult job if this is kicked out of reintroducing it into a new bill.
Yes.
Especially once things start normalizing.
Yes. So, in a nutshell, the Democratic Party wants to destroy democracy by importing voters, and the Republican Party disagrees with that.
And the ruse is that if you don't accept what they're doing, then you're a threat to democracy.
Yes.
Wow.
Let me also highlight that's what Joe Biden was doing. He was on that same freight train. Okay?
and he's spoken about this before, but you can see it kind of more coming into fruition now, why they're so pro-immigration. Democrat Party was never this way, right? Even when Obama ran, he used to run with this idea of you will be deported if you are not here legally, and if you don't go about it, if you cross the border illegally, you will be sent back. Democrats are pretty much against that now. In fact, sanctuary cities grew and birthed out of that, right? Out of this analogy that, hey, we can actually pretty much just keep importing new people and new voters. They'll always thank us. They'll always come for us. And people will be extremely happy about the fact that we are the party that represents this. But we can't possibly lose this portion because our party's foundation today, it's pretty much this.
As they try to destroy democracy
Yes.
by importing voters.
That is
and
literally what they're
incentivizing
doing.
people to only vote for them and overwhelming the system.
Yes. And by the way, it's a strategy that, if allowed to work, would work. And in fact, has worked. California is supermajority Democrat.
Yeah.
Most definitely it is. A large number of black men and women left the Democrat Party, went Republican. That left them out to dry. So when it comes to those votes, look at the states that are Democratic states, okay, like California and a few others. They want to keep the immigrants happy. What's going to keep them more happy? Healthcare, private funding, whether it be for living conditions, proper funding for that. No, we're going to go ahead and give them Section 8. We're going to go ahead and give them discount on buying property. We're going to go ahead and fund certain programs that are specifically for the immigrants. Because in return, what they're going to do for the Democrats, vote for them, support them. Help me make it make sense. Now we see why the crash out is real. The crash out is the way that it is. Why the Democrats are trying to stick to their guns. But this will backfire on them. And it has. Let's continue.
Yeah.
And there's so much gerrymandering that occurs. It's crazy.
That California or New York will never be red because of all of this. Because of the gerrymandering, because of, again, the illegal immigration scam that they've been running for years now. That's why you see people, again, like Chuck Schumer melt down the way they're melting down. They know what's at stake here. They know what they must keep up and they must keep doing and they must keep going in order to finally, get the bill exactly where they want it, right?
But it's going to be hard for them to get the bill exactly the way they want. You think Trump don't know? Trump already knows. Trump already has a backup plan. Time is running out for the Democrats. Time is running out for Schumer. That's why he's crashing now. That's why he's pressing. We know what time it is. We've been new. Now that the public knows, okay? My question would be to the public, now that you know the truth, what is your next move? Are you going to be adult about it? Because now that you know, and stop with the foolery, stop with the fuckery, and move in a totally different direction? Or are you going to act ignorant and stupid and open up the doors for martial law? You decide.
But they've been giving up about this. They've been cracking on this. They've been giving away their game plan for some time now. Elon Musk, Obama, and Hillary used to be for closed borders. Here's what he says to Joe Rogan.
But it just doesn't seem like that would be anything that any rational society would go along with. That's what makes me so confused. It's like you're importing massive numbers of people that come from some really dark places of the world.
Well, there's no vetting is the
Right.
issue. It's like
Right.
it's like if there's no vetting, like people are just coming through. Like, well, what's to stop someone who just committed murder in some other country from coming to the United States or coming to Britain and just continuing their career of rape and murder? Like, unless you've done, if this is some due diligence to say like, well, who is this person? What's their track record? If you haven't confirmed that they have a track record of being, honest and not being a homicidal maniac, then any homicidal maniac can just come across the border. And that's not to say everyone who comes across the border is a homicidal maniac, but if you don't have a vetting process to confirm that you're not letting in people who will do some serious violence, you will get people who do serious violence sometimes coming through.
Well, especially if you don't punish them. And if you don't.
Most definitely. Again, shout out to Elon Musk. Man's doing an amazing job. I got nothing but love and respect for Elon Musk. I got nothing but love and respect for Joe Rogan. But Elon Musk makes an accurate and honest, realistic argument and a point. You know, the other side knows what the fuck they're doing. They know. However, they didn't think this thing through. When you dealing with Trump, you dealing with a man that is strategic and has a backup plan for everything that he does. You think he ain't prepared for this? He's just going about it the right way, following the right policies. Let's continue.
Deport them. And if you are just like, well, but what is the purpose of allowing all those people into the country? It can't be. I wouldn't imagine that anyone in their society supports this.
Well, let me explain. So because you mentioned, for example, how much, say, Hillary and Obama have changed their tune from prior speeches where they were hard-nosed about not letting in anyone who's a criminal into the country, having secure borders, all that stuff. So why did they change their tune? The reason is that they discovered that those people vote for them.
Let your soul speak. Leave a comment. Like this video. Subscribe.